video, we're going to talk about who pays for care, how much it costs, and the options you have when paying your care bill.
The average weekly cost of living in a residential care home is £972, while the average nursing home cost is £1,196 per week. Annual residential care home fees cost around £51,000, while nursing care costs around £62,000 a year.
If you choose to have care at home, a typical hourly rate for a carer coming into your home is around £20 an hour. This will vary depending on where you live. Having a carer who lives with you costs from £800 a week, but it can cost as much as £1,600 a week if you need a lot of care.
Now, you will not be entitled to help with the cost of care from your local council if you have savings worth more than £23,250. This is also known as the upper capital limit. This will rise to £100,000 in October 2025. Savings include cash accounts, investments, ISAs, and may include some bonds. However, your financial planner will help you establish if these should be included.
You may also not be entitled to help if you own your own home. However, this only applies if you're moving into a care home. To establish if you qualify for any state funding, you can ask your council for a financial assessment to check if you are qualifying for any help with costs. You can choose to pay for the care yourself if you don't want a financial assessment. If your savings are likely to fall below £23,250, we would suggest that you contact your local council about 3 months before you think your savings will drop below this limit and ask them to reassess your finances.
Councils provide funding from the date you contact them. You won't be reimbursed if your savings are below the limit before you contact them. You might also be able to get some free help regardless of your income or if you're paying for your own care. This can include small bits of equipment or home adaptations that each cost less than £1,000. And then there's also NHS care, such as NHS continuing healthcare, NHS funded nursing care, and care after illness or hospital discharge.
So NHS continuing healthcare is a package of care for adults aged 18 or over, which is arranged and funded solely by the NHS. In order to receive this funding, individuals have to be assessed as having a primary health need. Unlike the local authority funding, it is not means tested.
So if you are funding your own care, we talk about this in more detail in our next video, which is named Ways to Pay for Care. Even if you choose to pay for your care, your council can do an assessment to check what care you might need. This is called a needs assessment. For example, it'll tell you whether you need some help from a paid carer for 2 hours a day or 2 hours a week, and precisely what they should be helping you with. The needs assessment is free and anyone can request one. There are some state benefits which can help with the cost of care, such as attendance allowance or personal independence payment. These are not means-tested benefits. We would establish if you are eligible for these kind of benefits during our planning process.
So let's explore your options when you're using your home to fund care. Now, you won't have to sell your home to pay for help if you are remaining at home, but you may have to sell your home to pay for care fees if you are moving into a residential home, unless you have a partner that is going to carry on living in the property. Sometimes selling your home to pay for care can feel like the best option, but there may be other ways to pay the fees if you don't want to sell your home straight away or at all. Releasing money from your home is called equity release. Now, equity release lets you take money that is tied up in your home without selling it. It's available once you are over the age of 55. Often you have to pay interest on the money that you take out, which can be expensive. We therefore recommend that you speak with a financial planner before considering this option. They can assess your finances as a whole rather than focusing just on the equity release advice.
So you can also rent out your home and use the income to help pay for your care home fees. Another option to consider is what's called a deferred payment scheme. This can be useful if you have savings less than the upper capital limit of £23,250 and all of your money is tied up in your property. The council pays for your care home and you repay it later when you choose to sell your home or if you pass away. You would need to establish with your council if you're eligible for a deferred payment scheme, as not everyone is.
Another factor to consider is the 12-week property disregard. This refers to the first 12 weeks of care received by a person after entering a local authority-funded residential care or nursing home on a permanent basis. The aim is to give the person time to decide what they want to do with their property and how they will meet the cost of future eligible care needs.
Now, you can hold your property with your spouse, partner, or another party as joint tenants or tenants in common. We're now going to take a look at the key differences between the two. Joint tenants is a type of joint ownership where each owner is called a joint tenant. Each person holds part of the property, with the share of each passing to the other on death.
There's also tenants in common, which is a shared ownership of a property but not necessarily in equal parts. On the death of one of the tenants, their share can pass to their beneficiaries in accordance with their will.
Typically, couples leave half their property to their beneficiaries. In this way, if the surviving partner needs residential nursing care and they are means tested by the local authority, it cannot be said that the survivor owns the whole property, ensuring that this half of the property cannot be used as part of their financial assessment.
So, as always, we recommend that you seek advice from a suitably qualified professional before making any decisions regarding the funding of your care.
Thank you.
Thank you.